Good morning to you, my beautiful babes and babettes. I am your resident active advocate, and I am here to talk to you today about the second form that the gaze can take when applied to disability. This is the exotic gaze. Now, one might infer from the name two things, both a beautiful thing and an unknown thing. But the exotic gaze is much more about the latter of those two. In terms of looking upon disability as something unknown, it comes more down to the feelings of the observer rather than the qualities of the observed. In regards to visible disabilities, especially, this is true. When you see someone who uses a wheelchair, oftentimes people do sort of like that, the double take, sort of, this thing is not part of my usual environment, so your brain, as a safety mechanism, and this is part of evolutionary science, kind of goes, wait, hang on, got my radar up. But because we see that sort of thing often enough now, the radar is only up for the fraction of a second, and then it goes back down again because it recognizes, by the way, there is no threat here. The only threat that could potentially be inferred from the exotic gaze of disability is the threat to oneself in becoming disabled. As I have discussed in a previous video, the fear of disability is very real, and especially the fear of inheriting a disability through accident or through illness. And the exotic gaze has very much to do with that is not me. Not necessarily with the relief of that is not me, but with the recognition that that is not me. If you are yourself, say, a wheelchair user or a white cane user or someone with a visible hearing aid or any number of other things, then that ceases to be part of the exotic gaze because, as I say, this particular gaze is much more based on the feelings of the observer than on the quality of the observed. In every interaction between human beings, there is always observer and observed because you, whichever you is watching this, the conscious mind that is watching this, that is the you, because everyone's name is I, so that is the I. Actually, I would say the you because it's not me, it's not I. And in that sense, everyone is to some degree exotic to everyone else because it is not the I. When, however, we look at other people with not only the gaze of recognition but the gaze of understanding, we see that everyone's name is I. Therefore, everyone is I. Therefore, everyone is you. We are one another's observer and observed. And this is always the case no matter how foreign or exotic the body may look. And I want to advocate for this increase in understanding between points of view because everyone, as I have said many times, is different from everyone else. And there's no objective measure by which to say, this is too different or this is me, right? That's only tribalism. And while tribalism is a safety mechanism evolved by evolution, it doesn't have to be a divisive thing anymore. Now that our world is both so broad and so small because of all the different technological measures that have been put forward to connect us, like the internet, then the other no longer has to be the feared thing. It can be the thing that brings us all together. It can be the thing that makes us all friends. There's lots and lots of other people out there. They're not all going to be friendly. They're not all going to be mean. There's no point in prejudging. There's no point in seeing people as the bad kind of exotic, the harmful, the fearful kind of exotic. There's no point in that because you could be that to someone else. Don't forget that. The gaze is relative. The gaze is not objective. The gaze is always subjective because it's you or I who is seeing and who is judging. Thank you very much for your time today. That is the end of this particular one. It's not the worst of all of these. Tomorrow I may be late, or tomorrow there may not be a video at all. I actually don't know. The guy is coming for the stove again. So tomorrow morning may be a bit of a write-off. I don't know. If I am with you at all, it will most likely be in the afternoon, but we will see. And I also want to inform you that next Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving, and I live in Canada. So next Monday, it is most likely that there will not be a video, but we'll see about that when we get there. Thank you very, very much for your time, and thank you very much for your gaze. And I will see you tomorrow to talk about the romanticized gaze of disability. Thank you very much. Bye. Mwah.